Dr. Alok, I've been having the worst day, and I'm doing my positive affirmations, and it just doesn't feel like it's working.
Well, no not gonna work.
Excuse me? Like, everyone says you're supposed to do positive affirmations.
Yeah. Today what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna share with you the 7 popular habits that people are doing out there in order to create a positive mindset. And I'm gonna share with you which ones work and which ones don't.
One shot, now the future is yours. Go! I'm turning dreams into reality. Yeah, it's one shot, now the future is yours. Go!
Oh, what's up everybody? Kris Krohn here, and check it out. Today we're talking about the 7 habits of mastering a positive mindset. And you know what? I've got a guest today that thinks some of these are full on crap, and that's Mr. Dr. Alok, who's an expert in the space of positive mindset. Thank you for being here today.
Well, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, so help everyone understand just a little bit who you are and your amazing background, starting off as this incredible doctor, fastest, largest growing clinic, and then how you transition completely into the space of helping people build better mindsets.
Yeah, I started in practice. I started working with patients, and built the largest clinic in the world at one point, and seeing over 1,250 patient visits a week, and that was a lot of people. And I started realizing patients had problems, but they all started in their mind, in the way that they thought. And I started seeing problems in the way that people think and how it affected their body. And then I started applying that to the money, to mindset, to relationships, to business. And all of a sudden it affected all areas of life. And now what I've got is the secret to rewiring your brain, to be able to do what you want, to live inspired, and have it all as you're on Kris's channel.
So I'm going to tell you right now, this is going to be a little bit interesting because I've spent enough time with Dr. Alok as an expert in space to say, he's got some really different ideas than popular notions out there about how you construct and have the most positive mindset. And I'm not going to lie, some of these things at first even turned me off a little bit until I had a chance to understand his perspective. I think today's video is going to be super enlightening. And we're going to start with the number one belief out there that says that you should start your day with a positive affirmation. The start of your morning sets up the tone for the rest of your day. Talk to yourself in the mirror, even if you feel silly, with statements like, today will be a good day, or I'm gonna be awesome today. And what do you think about this?
I think it's bullshit.
Are you serious?
I'm dead serious.
Really?
Absolutely. Here's why. Because if you are looking for positive affirmations, internally you feel negative. And it's not being congruent and authentic to who you are. It's like saying, I'm rich, I'm rich, I'm rich, I'm rich. Oh, but by the way, the bank collector just called for my bills. You can't false yourself into a reality that's not true. It's better to ask yourself the question, why am I feeling negative? And how is this going to serve me to turn into a positive outcome? Because negative thinking is a valuable asset that's needed. We need it in our system. The question to ask is why? Don't falsify yourself in positive thinking. That's going to lead to depression and chaos. Don't do that.
So you have me totally curious here because honestly, I've done affirmations for years and there's a lot of positivity I've seen from it, but I can't deny what you're talking about in the space of really addressing the negativity. Can you give me an example from either your life or maybe one of your students or clients that you've worked with where you were able to help them understand more about that negativity that led to a better outcome?
Sure, absolutely. When you're negative, the question to ask yourself is, why am I negative? What's really going on? And if you find out that you'll actually get to become authentic to yourself. The challenge with positive affirmations, right, is that we continually want to force ourselves to feel positive, but our brain and our body don't function that way. We have negative things that happen in our life. The idea in order to do that is in order to get authentic and heal that and understand why it's there. Negative thinking is super valuable. I'll give you an example. If you're walking down the street in New York City and negative thinking shows up that, hey, look, I better be careful of myself, that's a good, valuable reason to be negative. But if you always falsify, say, nothing's going to happen to me, I'm going to be safe, everything's going to be fantastic, that's a delusion. Positive affirmations lead to more delusion and psychosis than I've ever seen.
All right, let's try number 2.
All right.
This is a popular idea called focus on the silver lining. You're going to encounter obstacles throughout the day. And when you encounter these challenges, focus on the benefits no matter how unimportant they seem. For example, if you get stuck in traffic, think about the time you now have to listen to the rest of your favorite podcast. True or false? What do you think?
I think that's true. I think it's 100% true. The reason why I say that is because it's wise to find the benefits in things that are going on that are challenging in your life, but it's also wise to find the challenges in the things that are going good in your life. That's a process called rebalancing. That's the rewiring principle, to be able to create yourself to live in a state of order and organization, not get emotionally chaotic on either side. Because every negative situation has a silver lining, and every silver lining has a negative situation. If you find both, you get clarity in who you are.
All right, let's see about this one. This is number 3. It's called Find the Humor, a super popular idea. Allow yourself to experience humor, even in difficult situations. Remind yourself that this situation will one day be nothing more than a good story, and you'll remember how you responded more than the problem itself. What do you think?
I think it's absolutely true. And here's why I say that. Because laughter releases endorphins. If you can take any scenario in your life and laugh at it, you will rebalance and reheal your brain, and any type of situation that you have will turn into a comedy situation rather than a tragedy.
I'll tell you, my wife called me up years ago. I was at this Tony Robbins conference, and she said, Kris, we've got this problem. And I'm like, she knows we don't use that word.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what's going on? She says, the house is flooded. And I started laughing. And she's on the phone getting upset. She's like, why are you laughing? I'm like, it's not every day that my kids get to wake up to a water park in the house. And that has become now like the running joke that even if the house floods, and then it got better than that. She said, stop laughing. You're not taking this serious. And I said, well, honey, the real reason why I'm laughing is that you've been complaining for some time that you want to update the whole house. And now the insurance company is going to pay for it. It's often been said, turn failures into lessons. And Dr. Alok, this is number 4. You're going to make mistakes and you're going to experience failure. Instead of focusing on how you failed, think about how you're going to do it next time. Turn your failures into a lesson and come up with new rules for managing similar situations. Do you agree or disagree?
I got to agree with a caveat. Here's why. Because there is no such thing as failure. If you really stop and think about it, the things that you said that were the worst, that you failed at, that were the worst times in your life, that you failed maybe at marriage, maybe at business, maybe at economics, maybe at studying, I don't know, maybe it's a test. All of those were the silver lining that we talked about earlier. But the big thing about it is that those are the reasons that you actually turn them into chasing success. So it's not a failure, but it's, as my old mentor once said to me, is that I cannot fail, but I can only learn and grow. So there is no failure. There's only an opportunity to learn and grow. That's where you turn it into the greatest success in your life.
Do or do not. There is no try.
Listen, we've all heard about negative self-talk. We've heard about positive self-talk. And so this one, number 5, is transform that negative self-talk into positive self-talk. You might be tempted to think, I'm so bad at this, or I shouldn't have tried that. But these thoughts turn into internalized feelings and might cement your conceptions of yourself. When you catch yourself doing this, stop and replace those negative messages with positive ones. Agree or disagree?
I disagree. Here's why. Negative self-talk and positive self-talk are both delusions. We can get caught up in both of them. Positive self-talk feels good. The dopamine's high. We feel great. We say, I feel great about it. But that doesn't mean that it's healthy. One of the biggest misconceptions that we have is that feeling good is health. That's not true at all, right? Because we know that heart disease, cancer, all these different diseases, you feel perfectly fine till the end. It's not about feeling great. It's about performing in balance. Self-talk that's negative and self-talk that's positive are both feedbacks to make you get back to a state of balance with zero self-talk. That's the key.
So interesting. I talk sometimes about this idea of good and bad. And I have a hard time with both of these words because they're these concepts that we familiarize ourselves with, and I think people have put some intense meaning on them. Instead, I like to focus on the benefits and the disadvantages. And what I hear you saying is stay away from the left and right and ask yourself, where's my center? If you find balance, that's where you're gonna find your health.
That's where you're gonna find health, wealth, and real ultimate joy at the end of the day. Because all of that sits in a state of gratitude. Gratitude doesn't live in chaos of emotions of happiness, sadness, good or bad. It lives in the state of the presence where you're much more balanced.
Okay, then this is kind of interesting for me because you're just talking about present. I'm curious to know whether you agree or disagree on this one. It's called focus on the present. I'm talking about the present, not today, not this hour, only this exact moment. Most sources of negativity stem from a memory of recent events, maybe even the past or exaggerated imaginations of a potential future event. Stay in the present moment. I'm curious, do you agree or disagree with this?
I agree. The secret to staying in the present moment, though, is to get out of the chaos of emotions. As long as you can get out of the chaos of emotions and really get present in this moment, because there is nothing else. truly grateful for this moment, then you'll be able to really appreciate the present moment. That's when health, vitality, and energy, and truly at the end of it, your ultimate energy will truly maximize. But if you're in negativity or positivity or some sort of chaos of emotions, you won't be able to get in the present. And that's where you will create more chaos into your life.
So that's really interesting. And I've got to ask, how do you get out of that chaos of those negative emotions when they come upon you?
So the first thing you got to do is you got to breathe, right? Breathing is the most important thing. It's the inspiration that gives your body life. And when you breathe, you actually allow yourself to stop, inspire, get oxygen into the bloodstream, which allows you to think clearly. When we get angry or in an emotional state, we take oxygen away from the brain. It leads to what's called a hypoxic state. Big, long technical term. All it means is that your brain isn't getting oxygen. Breathe in, it stops you from dealing with chaos. That's the first step to do. Second step to ask yourself is, am I in control of myself, or is the environment in control of me? And when you ask that question, and you realize that the environment is in control of you, that's when you realize that you're in emotion. When you start to say that I'm in control of myself, you'll start becoming present.
I am in control of myself. I don't feel in control. And finally, speaking of popular notions for how to get yourself back into a good state, number 7. Find positive friends and positive coworkers. I'm positive there's no way Dr. Alok will disagree with this. Here's what it says. When you surround yourself with positive people, you'll hear positive outlooks, positive stories, positive affirmations. Their positive words will sink in and affect your own line of thinking, which then affects your words and similarly contributes to the group. Agree, right?
No, not at all.
What?
It's absolutely incorrect. You don't want to find positive friends. Here's why you don't want to find positive friends, because they feel good and they're your friends. That's all they are. It's a big support group. You don't want support groups. You want people that will challenge you to rise to the best of your version. If you think that the world is constantly challenging you, you're going to look for people to support you with positive friends. But if you realize that the world needs to challenge you in order to grow, you'll be able to take balance of support and challenge to grow and take yourself to the next level. Over support creates more people to stay stuck small. So I say, you know what? Find people that will challenge you. Find people that will make you grow. Find people that will make you thrive in your life and push you to the highest version of yourself. That's what you really want.
I'm shocked. I can't believe that's your answer. And how do I really refute that? I mean, the truth is our friends tend to support our inadequacies. It's almost like crabs in a bucket. They want to keep us in the same space. And my greatest growth has been surrounding myself with people that are echelons higher. You know, it's been said that we become the average of the people we spend time with. And if we were to put that in some sort of data like money, something we're familiar with, I remember what someone once said, well, Kris, write down a list of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Now write down their incomes, average it out, and that's your income. And it was. And I was like, oh my gosh, I need to get some millionaire friends. So I got to say, I thought you were going to agree with this one, but now I totally understand why you don't.
Yeah, it's important to realize consciousness is contagious. Who you surround yourself will help you grow. But if you only look for, as you said, the supporters, the people that will support your inadequacies, you'll stay stuck. And I don't think you'll ever find a life of inspiration being stuck. You want to grow, you want to thrive, you want to live at the highest level. That's why you're here watching this video. You want to learn to be the best version of yourself. And to do that, don't be afraid of challenge. Don't be afraid of people who are pushing you to become your best version.
Gotta say, Dr. Alok, so glad that you came in town today. Thank you for being in studio. And you know what? You shared some really wonderful, powerful insights. For those of you that are looking for that next mindset mentor, Dr. Alok is findable everywhere online. In fact, if you click the link below, you can see his YouTube channel, his other social media. So be sure to check that out. If you also want to mentor more with me, there's a link below for how you can join me at one of my next live events. You might be there to learn about real estate. You might be there to learn about business. You might be there to learn about wealth. But don't be surprised that we take enough time to focus on the real estate between your 2 ears, because ultimately all of your success and all of your outcome comes down to what you think. Listen, I brought Dr. Alok today because I believe that you need proximity to mentors that have been where you want to go. This man, extraordinarily successful, and in the link below you can learn more about him. But more importantly, if you want to understand more about the power of having a mentor in your life, click this link and let me show you what having the right mentor can do for you. Into internalized feelings and might cement your conceptions of yourself. Sorry, I'm trying to read out of one eye and it's really not working. Let me try again. Sorry, can you just angle the camera? You might be tempted to think, I'm so bad at